Welcome back to our chilling series exploring the haunted corners of America's most iconic landscapes. In this fifth episode of Most Haunted Places in the Rocky Mountains, we venture deep into the rugged peaks, dense forests, and shadowy valleys that define this majestic region. The Rockies are more than just a breathtaking natural wonder, they are also home to some of the most spine-tingling tales of ghostly encounters, ancient curses, and unspeakable tragedies. From abandoned mining towns frozen in time to eerie cabins cloaked in mystery, these haunted places echo with the whispers of those who came before, their stories etched into the very fabric of the land. What makes the Rocky Mountains so uniquely suited to harboring supernatural phenomena? Perhaps it's the isolation, the vast stretches of wilderness where human voices fade into howling winds and silence reigns supreme. Or maybe it's the weight of history, as centuries of Native American lore, frontier violence, and environmental upheaval have left indelible marks on the landscape. Whatever the reason, the spirits here seem particularly restless, unwilling, or unable to move on. In this episode, we'll journey to some of the most infamous haunted locales scattered across the Rockies, places steeped in tragedy, betrayal, and unrelenting despair. We'll peer into the shadowy depths of abandoned mines, explore ghost towns frozen in decay, and tread cautiously through cursed lands said to be haunted by vengeful entities. Along the way, we'll hear first-hand accounts from witnesses brave enough to confront the unknown, examine chilling evidence captured by paranormal investigators, and unravel the tragic histories that give rise to these hauntings. So dim the lights, keep your ears sharp, and prepare yourself for a descent into the macabre. As we step into the haunted heart of the Rocky Mountains, remember, sometimes, the most terrifying truths lie just beyond the veil, and once you cross it, there's no turning back. St. Elmo Ghost Town, echoes of the Wild West nestled high in the Sawatch Range of Colorado, St. Elmo stands as one of the best-preserved ghost towns in the United States, a relic of the frenzied gold rush era that swept through the Rocky Mountains in the late 19th century. Founded in 1880, the town quickly became a bustling hub for miners, merchants, and adventurers chasing fortune in the unforgiving terrain. At its peak, St. Elmo boasted over 2,000 residents, numerous saloons, general stores, and even a schoolhouse. Yet beneath its charming wooden facades lay a darker narrative, one marked by greed, violence, and untimely death. One of the most enduring legends tied to St. Elmo revolves around the Stark family, prominent figures in the town's early days. The patriarch, Anton Stark, owned several successful mines and was widely respected until his mysterious disappearance in 1893. Rumors swirled about foul play involving rival prospectors, though no conclusive evidence emerged. Locals believe Anton's restless spirit haunts Main Street, pacing anxiously as though still searching for answers. Visitors report hearing faint footsteps crunching against gravel, accompanied by the distant jingle of spurs, a sound reminiscent of the Old West. Some claim to see a gaunt figure clad in period attire staring mournfully out of upstairs windows, his expression frozen in eternal anguish. Another prominent figure in St. Elmo's haunted lore is believed to be Mary Murphy, a young woman whose tragic love affair ended in heartbreak and death. According to local legend, Mary fell deeply in love with a drifter named Jack Thompson, only to discover he had been secretly courting another woman. Consumed by jealousy, she confronted him in the town's general store, where a violent altercation ensued. Witnesses claimed to hear screams piercing the night air, followed by an ominous silence. By morning, both Mary and Jack were found dead, Mary from a gunshot wound to the chest, and Jack hanging lifelessly from a nearby tree. Since then, visitors exploring the ruins of the general store report seeing a translucent figure resembling Mary wandering aimlessly among the shelves, her hands clutching her chest as if reliving her final moments. Adding to the town's spectral allure is the presence of unseen children, believed to be the spirits of youngsters who perished during harsh winters or epidemics. Many visitors recount hearing faint giggles echoing through empty streets, accompanied by the rhythmic clatter of toy wagons rolling across wooden planks. Others describe feeling small hands tugging at their clothing or brushing against their legs, only to turn and find no one there. These playful yet unsettling encounters add a layer of poignancy to St. Elmo's haunting legacy, reminding us that tragedy knows no age limit. Paranormal investigators exploring St. Elmo have documented numerous instances of unexplained phenomena. Thermal cameras reveal significant cold spots concentrated near the old schoolhouse and the Stark residence, where many of the tragedies unfolded. Audio recordings pick up fragmented phrases like "help me" and "don't leave," delivered in tones of sheer desperation. One particularly unsettling discovery came when a team member set up motion-activated cameras overnight, capturing footage of a translucent figure standing motionless at the midpoint of Main Street before vanishing without explanation. Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted reputation, St. Elmo remains a popular destination for tourists and locals alike. Its picturesque setting and rich history make it a favorite spot for photography and leisurely strolls. For those brave enough to venture inside after dark, the promise of encountering Anton Stark, Mary Murphy, or one of the countless other spirits said to linger adds an element of fascination and trepidation. Yet, as each new visitor steps onto St. Elmo's dusty streets, they must ask themselves, are they prepared to face the echoes of the past, or will they become another chapter in the town's macabre legacy? The Stanley Hotel, elegance entangled with the supernatural, perched majestically atop a hill overlooking Estes Park, Colorado. The Stanley Hotel exudes an air of refined elegance that belies its turbulent history. Established in 1909 by Freeland Oscar Stanley, inventor of the Stanley steamer automobile, the hotel quickly became a sanctuary for the elite, offering breathtaking views of the Rocky Mountains and luxurious accommodations fit for royalty. With its sweeping verandas, crystal chandeliers, and meticulously manicured gardens, the Stanley epitomized sophistication and exclusivity. Yet beneath its polished veneer lay a darker narrative, one marked by scandal, betrayal, and unexplained phenomena that would cement its status as one of the most haunted places in the Rocky Mountains. One of the most notorious incidents tied to the Stanley Hotel occurred in room 407, which is said to be haunted by the spirit of a jilted lover named Lucy. According to local lore, Lucy checked into the hotel in the early 20th century under the pretense of meeting her fiancé, only to discover he had abandoned her for another woman. Overcome with grief, she took her own life in the room, leaving behind a legacy of sorrow that continues to haunt visitors today. Guests staying in room 407 frequently report strange occurrences: lights turning on and off by themselves, radios tuning to static-filled stations, and the overwhelming scent of roses lingering in the air. Some claim to wake up in the middle of the night to find their bedsheets tangled impossibly tight around their limbs, as if restrained by invisible hands. Another prominent figure in the hotel's haunted lore is believed to be Lord Dunraven, a wealthy British nobleman who frequented the property during its heyday. Paranormal investigators exploring the hotel have captured EVP recordings suggesting the presence of a male entity whispering phrases like, "retreat," and "hold the line." Witnesses described seeing a shadowy figure resembling Dunraven pacing anxiously near windows, clutching what appears to be a cane before vanishing without a trace. The hotel's basement, once used for storage and laundry operations, has become a focal point of paranormal activity. Employees tasked with cleaning the area often describe hearing chains rattling and heavy footsteps echoing through the cavernous space, though no one else is present. Some claim to see shadowy figures dragging invisible loads, their movements jerky and unnatural. A particularly chilling account comes from a maintenance worker who swore he felt cold metal cuffs snap around his wrists, pulling him backward toward the darkness before releasing him abruptly. Overnight visitors to the Stanley Hotel frequently recount bizarre experiences that defy logical explanation. Lights flicker unpredictably, especially in hallways leading to the older sections of the building. Doors slam shut on their own, and the scent of cigar smoke wafts through the air despite the hotel's strict no-smoking policy. One guest described waking up to find his reflection in the mirror staring back at him, but not quite matching his movements, as if another entity stood behind him, mimicking his actions. Another recounted seeing a man in a dusty soldier's uniform standing at the foot of her bed, his hollow eyes boring into hers before vanishing without a sound. Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted reputation, the Stanley Hotel remains a popular destination for history enthusiasts and thrill-seekers alike. Its rich tapestry of human drama, interwoven with tragedy and loss, creates an atmosphere unlike any other. For those brave enough to book a stay, the possibility of encountering Lucy, Lord Dunraven, or one of the countless other spirits said to roam its halls adds an element of excitement and trepidation. The Brown Palace Hotel, shadows of splendor in the heart of Denver, where the vibrant energy of skyscrapers meets the historic charm of Victorian architecture, stands the Brown Palace Hotel, a beacon of refined luxury with a haunting legacy that dates back over a century. Established in 1892, the hotel quickly became a retreat for affluent travelers, politicians, and celebrities seeking respite amidst the bustling cityscape. Its soaring atrium, hand-carved woodwork, and opulent furnishings evoke a sense of timeless grace, yet beneath its polished veneer lies a darker history steeped in tragedy, betrayal, and spectral encounters. One of the most iconic hauntings associated with the Brown Palace Hotel is that of John Springer, a former employee who met a tragic end. Described as diligent but deeply troubled, Springer's life was marred by personal struggles and societal pressures. Historical records indicate that he fell victim to a fire that swept through the hotel's lower levels in the early 1900s, leaving him trapped inside. His death sent shockwaves through the community, and his memory has since become intertwined with the fabric of the Brown Palace. Guests and staff alike report seeing a man in a vintage bellhop uniform gliding silently through the lobby, his translucent form illuminated by dim light. Some claim to feel an icy draft pass through them as he drifts by, while others report hearing soft humming emanating from empty rooms, believed to be Springer tidying up after guests long gone. Another prominent figure in the hotel's haunted lore is believed to be Margaret Molly Brown, the famed Titanic survivor who spent considerable time at the Brown Palace. Though not a permanent resident, her larger-than-life personality left an indelible mark on the property. Visitors recount sightings of a tall, imposing woman clad in period attire, pacing anxiously near the bar or sitting alone at a corner table. Her presence is often accompanied by the faint clinking of silverware and the smell of lavender, as though she's preparing for one last soiree. Some speculate that Molly lingers due to unfinished business, unable to part ways with the city that played such a pivotal role in her life. The hotel's basement, once used for storage and wine cellars, has also gained a reputation for paranormal activity. Employees tasked with maintaining the area describe hearing muffled voices and the sound of footsteps echoing through the narrow passageways, though no one else is present. Objects are known to move inexplicably. Tools vanish only to reappear hours later in entirely different locations. One particularly unnerving incident involved a server who swore he saw a young boy playing with marbles in the corner of the room, only for the child to disappear when approached. Theories abound that the boy may have been a victim of illness or accident during the hotel's early years, forever trapped in the confines of its lower levels. Modern-day investigations into the Brown Palace Hotel's supernatural claims have yielded intriguing results. Thermal imaging cameras reveal significant temperature drops in specific areas, including the main dining room and the basement. Electromagnetic field (EMF) meters register unusual spikes, particularly near antique furniture pieces believed to have belonged to original owners. Perhaps the most compelling evidence comes from audio recordings, which capture disembodied voices uttering fragmented sentences like, "I'm sorry," and "Let me go." Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted allure, the Brown Palace Hotel continues to draw visitors eager to immerse themselves in its storied past. For those brave enough to dine there, the opportunity to encounter John Springer, Molly Brown, or one of the countless other spirits said to roam its halls adds an element of excitement and trepidation. Whether you're drawn by the allure of its architectural splendor or the thrill of peeling back the layers of its enigmatic history, the Brown Palace promises an unforgettable experience where the line between the living and the dead blurs, and the echoes of yesterday linger just beyond reach. Patterns across the Rockies' haunted places, themes of tragedy and resilience as we traverse the haunted landscapes of the Rocky Mountains. From the opulent halls of the Stanley Hotel to the somber grounds of St. Elmo Ghost Town, striking similarities emerge that transcend individual locations and histories. These patterns are not merely coincidental but reflect universal themes of human emotion, unresolved trauma, and the enduring power of memory. From the wailing wards of hospitals to the shadowed basements of monuments, These sites share a commonality that binds them together in a spectral sisterhood of sorrow and suspense. One recurring motif is the concept of unfinished business. Whether it's the victims of unethical experiments, or the betrayed trust of patients subjected to inhumane treatments, these spirits seem tethered to the earthly realm by grievances left unaddressed. Their presence manifests as restless energy, often communicated through auditory phenomena, cries, whispers, or disembodied voices, that serve as pleas for acknowledgement or closure. This theme resonates across cultures and belief systems, reflecting humanity's innate need to resolve conflict and seek peace, even in death. Another shared characteristic is the role of architecture in amplifying paranormal activity. Historic buildings, with their labyrinthine corridors, thick walls, and hidden alcoves, create environments conducive to isolating individuals and heightening fear. These structural elements act as metaphors for the psychological barriers erected by those who suffered within their confines, trapping emotions such as anger, despair, and regret. It's no coincidence that many reported hauntings occur in spaces imbued with emotional significance: operating rooms where surgeries went awry, basements where bodies were stored, or wards where patients met tragic ends. Lighting and sensory manipulation also feature prominently in these narratives. Flickering lights, sudden temperature drops, and inexplicable odors are staples of ghostly encounters, designed to disorient and unsettle. Such phenomena strip away the comfort of familiarity, forcing guests to confront the unknown. The use of mirrors, a recurring element in stories from various haunted hospitals, adds another layer of psychological tension, as reflections distort perception and blur the boundary between self and other. This interplay of light and shadow becomes a tool wielded by unseen forces, creating moments of visceral terror that linger long after the initial shock subsides. Finally, the prevalence of historical context cannot be overstated. Each location's haunting is deeply rooted in its unique past, shaped by the socio-cultural milieu of its time. The brutal medical practices embedded in the DNA of older establishments contrast sharply with the glamorous yet tragic lives immortalized in urban legends. Yet both narratives tap into broader archetypes of ambition, betrayal, and mortality, ensuring their resonance with audiences regardless of personal experience. By drawing on these universal motifs, these haunted places transform from mere buildings into living repositories of collective memory, inviting us to peer into the abyss of our shared humanity. Thus, while each establishment boasts its own distinct flavor of fright, the underlying threads connecting them reveal a tapestry rich with meaning. These patterns remind us that the supernatural is not so much about the entities themselves but the stories they tell, the echoes of lives interrupted, passions extinguished, and truths obscured. As we continue to explore these haunted locales, we find ourselves grappling not only with the specters of the past but with the timeless questions they raise about life, death, and everything in between. The psychology of fear. Why haunted places captivate us? What is it about haunted places that grips our imaginations so profoundly? Beyond the creaking floorboards and flickering lights lies a deeper allure, one rooted in the psychology of fear and the human fascination with the unknown. These sites, by their very nature, are places of vulnerability. They are where we confront our mortality, stripped of autonomy and control, relying entirely on the expertise of others to heal us, or where justice was denied, leaving wounds that refuse to heal. When these spaces become haunted, they amplify our primal fears, transforming familiar settings into arenas of existential dread. The combination of historical context, architectural design, and the lingering presence of past suffering creates a perfect storm of terror that resonates deeply within us. At the core of this captivation is the concept of liminality, the state of being on the threshold between two worlds. Haunted places exist in this liminal space, bridging life and death, health and illness, hope and despair. This inherent duality makes them fertile ground for supernatural narratives. Ghosts, as manifestations of unresolved trauma or unfinished business, embody the tension of being caught between states. They serve as reminders that the boundaries we construct, between life and afterlife, sanity and madness, are far more permeable than we'd like to believe. For many, visiting a haunted site feels like stepping into a twilight zone where the rules of reality no longer apply, igniting both curiosity and unease. Architecturally, Haunted places contribute to this atmosphere of dread through their design. Long, sterile hallways lined with identical doors create a sense of disorientation, while poor lighting and echoing acoustics heighten sensory awareness. These features mimic the psychological effects of anxiety and claustrophobia, making even mundane sounds, a distant cough, the hum of fluorescent lights, feel ominous. The labyrinthine layouts of older structures, with their hidden wings and underground tunnels, evoke feelings of entrapment and uncertainty. Every corner becomes a potential threat, every shadow a possible harbinger of danger. This environmental manipulation taps into our instinctual fight-or-flight response, keeping us perpetually on edge. Cultural influences also play a significant role in shaping our fascination with haunted places. Media representations, from films like The Shining to television series such as American Horror Story, have cemented the trope of the haunted asylum, courthouse, or battlefield as a locus of horror. These portrayals often blend historical truths with fictional embellishments, creating a mythology that blurs fact and fiction. Audiences are drawn to these stories because they reflect societal anxieties about institutional power, systemic injustice, and the fragility of the human mind. Haunted places become microcosms of larger fears, the loss of agency, the misuse of authority, and the haunting specter of mistakes made in the name of progress. Moreover, haunted places appeal to our desire for catharsis. Engaging with these tales allows us to process our own fears about mortality, injustice, and the flaws inherent in systems meant to protect us. By confronting ghostly apparitions and unexplained phenomena, we externalize internal anxieties, transforming abstract fears into tangible adversaries. This vicarious experience provides a safe outlet for exploring the darker aspects of human existence, offering both thrill and relief. It's no wonder that ghost tours and paranormal investigations of haunted places attract participants eager to test their courage against the unknown. Ultimately, the enduring allure of haunted places lies in their ability to mirror our deepest fears while challenging our understanding of reality. They remind us that the past is never truly buried, that pain and injustice leave indelible marks on both people and places. As we walk their haunted halls, we are forced to confront not only the spirits said to inhabit them but also the ghosts within ourselves, the regrets, doubts, and unanswered questions that linger long after the wounds have healed. In doing so, we find a strange comfort in knowing that we are not alone in our fears, that others have walked these same paths and emerged, shaken but alive, to tell their stories. As we bring this chilling journey through the Rocky Mountains' most haunted places to a close, one thing becomes abundantly clear: the spirits of the past refuse to be silenced. Each creaking floorboard, each whispered name, and each fleeting shadow serves as a testament to lives lived, lost, and lingering in the spaces we dare to call haunted. These stories are more than mere campfire tales. They are fragments of history, stitched together by human emotion, tragedy, and the relentless passage of time. They remind us that the line between the living and the dead is far thinner than we might believe, and that sometimes the most terrifying truths lie just beyond the veil. But why stop here? If these accounts have stirred something within you, a spark of curiosity, a shiver of excitement, I urge you to take the next step. Visit one of the Rocky Mountains' haunted places yourself. Walk the same halls where spirits are said to roam, stand in the rooms where history's echoes reverberate, and let the unknown brush against your senses. Whether you're a skeptic seeking proof or a believer eager to commune with the other side, these forsaken institutions offer an unparalleled opportunity to confront the mysteries that lie just beyond comprehension. There's nothing quite like experiencing the weight of decades-old despair firsthand, feeling the chill of a presence that defies explanation, or hearing the faint strains of voices from another time. And when you return, share your story. Did you feel the icy touch of a ghostly hand? Hear the faint tap of footsteps in an empty corridor? Or perhaps nothing happened at all, but isn't that silence just as intriguing? Your experiences add to the rich tapestry of lore surrounding these haunted places, ensuring their legacies endure for generations to come. Share your findings with fellow enthusiasts, document your journey, and keep the conversation alive. After all, every whisper contributes to the symphony of the supernatural. Until then, keep your lanterns lit and your courage steady. The spirits are waiting.